Hey folks, this is Rhykker, and today we're going to talk about a new Diablo game. We've got some exciting developments in the world of Diablo to talk about. Before we get to the more recent news, let's step back a bit. August 2015, 7 months ago, there was a new Blizzard job listing for an art director for an unannounced Diablo project. Yeah, art director for an unannounced project in the Diablo universe. At the time, we just thought this meant expansion. But there was one thing about it. Or it was either expansion or Diablo 4. You know, it was one or the other. But one thing, in the job write-up, Blizzard Entertainment, the developer of the most epic games in the world, is seeking an exceptionally skilled and passionate art director to help develop Blizzard's next hit game. I'll repeat, Blizzard's next hit game. If you were making an expansion, welcome new raider, if you were making an expansion, would you use the term next hit game? I mean, maybe. You can argue that. But to me that sounds like a new game. That sounds more like a Diablo 4, or dare I say something like a World of Diablo Craft, or who knows what we can get. We didn't really hear anything else until, it was either today or yesterday I think the news broke. 3 job listings. Senior Concept Artist, welcome new raider, unannounced project. Senior Character Artist, unannounced project. Lighting Artist, unannounced project. So these are 3 art positions. Again, 7 months ago, they put up a posting for an art director. That's the big head art guy. Presumably they've already made that hire, and now underneath that guy they're looking to hire some more people for him to work with. That's the picture that seems to be painted so far. These 3 job postings are Diablo related. All of them specify the Diablo universe. They all say unannounced project. None of them specify expansion or Diablo 4, but what's it gonna be? And that's what we want to talk about today. And for when I eventually make this a YouTube video, I want you guys to chime in the comment section. Let me know what you think that we can get, and what you think we're gonna get, and what you would like to get. Welcome new raider. Do you want Diablo 4 so soon? Do you want another expansion? Do you want something completely different, like a Diablo MMO, like World of Sanctuary, for instance? Do you want something completely different? Do you want just like a dedicated Diablo PvP game, for instance? Sound off with your ideas, and in chat here and Twitch as well. I likely won't be able to keep up with the speed of chat, but I will be trying to. Alright, I brought in Naughty Bear and British. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
So here's the thing. The concept artist, again, concept art stage is very early in development. It's not to say that you don't have concept art as well later on, but you generally need concept artists before anything is really being done. You get concept artists to draw characters, to draw locations, a lot of locations in fact. It's to get a feel for the game, right? You have the art director who's going to tell the concept artist, you know, do some stuff like this, and from there the concept artists generally, like, their job ends once they've done the concept art. It is then up to different set of artists to turn the concepts into actual 3D renders, to actualize the concept art. And that's a later stage. So we have senior character artist, right? If you're developing the characters, again, that seems pretty early in development. Then the last thing that's maybe a bit promising here is the lighting artist. You want a lighting artist. If you're already doing lighting, then you have something to show. You have something in a 3D world. So, these are all very interesting things, and the last thing that we're going to bring up right now is something that was brought up right after BlizzCon 2015. Now, this was a rumor. Everything else I've said so far is fact. We know that these job postings just came up. We know that former job posting came up 7 months ago in August. What I'm going to say right now is not verified. It is a rumor. However, the rumor is, right after BlizzCon, a Diablo community manager said that at next year's BlizzCon, Diablo fans are gonna lose their shit. Quote, lose their shit. That could be taken in a bad way, but it most likely indicates a positive thing. Lose their shit in a good way. Again, though, this was just a rumor. I wasn't able to track down the original source or to find out. It was a hearsay rumor, so it could be nothing. However, we're starting to paint a picture here. Clearly, we 100% know there is some kind of game set in the Diablo universe that is in production. This is not going to be a new IP. We use the term IP to mean intellectual property. So StarCraft is one of Blizzard's IPs. Welcome New Raider. Warcraft is one of Blizzard's IPs. Diablo is one of Blizzard's IPs. And for the longest time, those were Blizzard's 3 IPs that it actively worked on. Heroes of the Storm could be considered a new IP. It's sort of an amalgam of all their existing IPs. Their only completely new IP was Overwatch. So, this Diablo project, it's definitely Diablo. Like, they want to make sure, welcome New Raider, that the people that they're hiring have a very clear understanding of the feel of Diablo, of that gothic feel. And that's actually good news to anyone who was like, oh, Diablo 3 was all rainbows and sunshine, too much color. So just to give you some quotes here, for the lighting artist, the ideal candidate shares our sensibilities and looks forward to the challenge of illuminating the dark, medieval worlds of Diablo. So, this is going to be a 3D game. We know that. Based on the scope, this isn't going to be like a card game. We're illuminating worlds here. This isn't going to be a Hearthstone version of Diablo. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on in here. The question is, will this be Diablo 4? Or will it be something else entirely? That's something that we don't know.
One thing I wanted to ask, the August 2015 job listing, do we have any information on what that job was pertaining, aside from, you know, just saying a new unannounced Diablo project? Was there any specifics on what that job listing was entailing?
Yeah, absolutely. It was the art director.
That was the art director.
Yeah, so the art director for the unannounced project in the Diablo universe.
Okay.
So
basically what that tells me is the art director is brought in to kind of help create the vision.
Yeah.
And now that they've got something more of a, because let's see, what it was August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Now we're in March. That's 6 months later. They should probably have some kind of cohesive vision in place. Now they just need to bring in the artist to come in and bring it to life. So yeah, it does sound like it's in early development. It could be D4. It could be maybe they had some ideas for the D3 expansion, and maybe they made some changes. Who knows? Honestly, I want to say that it's 70-30 expansion, 30 D4, but it does kind of make me wonder about, you know, that guy saying people are going to lose their shit, which I think it's going to end up being a troll, and they're just going to announce the Lost Vikings coming back.
I see people in chat bringing up D2 Remake. So, a separate project, Blizzard is remastering their old games. I feel that if they are going to be making a remake of Diablo 2, that they wouldn't be also remastering D2. So I'm pretty sure that a remaster of D2 is in the works. And if that is the case, you're not going to be needing an art director, you're not going to be needing concept artists and all that to remaster a game. What they're doing is definitely building something from the ground up. Another clue that we got in the job posting here, if you can call it a clue, but I was going to say, if we look at this senior concept artist write-up, it says, the ideal candidate shares our sensibilities, loves dark medieval worlds, and feels there are countless stories left to tell in the Diablo universe. I think that last phrase there, countless stories left to tell in the Diablo universe. Law's Monkey saying, my theory was that they didn't plan on a second expansion, but after the community wanted another one, they had to hire new people last minute. I know that initially Blizzard did have plans for 2 expansions, so plans, I'm using this in the sense of the idea was, and we know this, we saw the leaked project slate, which if you're watching the pre-stream, you would have seen that. They had a project schedule, and this is just stuff to give shareholders so they have an idea of, you know, like, should I keep investing in your company kind of thing? Well, here's what we have planned for the next 5-10 years down the line. So there definitely were plans for 2 Diablo expansions. We were guaranteed the first, but the second one wasn't a guarantee. There was never an official announcement of a second expansion. There was never an official confirmation of that. All we know is that at some point Blizzard wanted to do 2 expansions. And so whether or not we're getting a second expansion is still up in the air, but when we saw all the content that came with patch 2.3 and 2.4, like, that's a lot of new content. You know, Kanai's Cube, all the stuff they brought in for free.
It shows a lot of commitment.
A lot of commitment, and it's almost indicative of, well, we were working on this stuff for the next expansion. The next expansion was cancelled. Let's finish this and release it anyway. Because at this point, what more can they bring in another expansion? Like, what are you gonna top? Like, if you're gonna get people to pay for new stuff now, is a new class gonna cut it, given that this last expansion brought us the cube, it brought us the characters, it brought us so much. It definitely puts Blizzard in a bind. And
where could they go with the story? That's what I'm wondering. Is like, well, Malthael's done. He put the Soul Stone into himself. When the Nephilim defeated him, that released all the Lords of Hell again. So they're back. Plus the foreboding, foretelling that Tyrael made about the Nephilim going bad. There are some stuff that we could see for a new expansion. Like, there's avenues that they could go down. Plus, you know, the rest of the classes going to this new continent, like we were speculating before, like a few months ago. Right? Yeah, the Scobos Isles. And a potential class, you said that's where the Amazons are. So we see the potential groundwork being laid down there.
For sure, for sure. I mean, the amount of hinting at the Scobos Isles really seems to suggest that they wanted that second expansion to go to that region. But at this point, like, I mean, there's a lot of hints that there was going to be another expansion. But we have not heard wind of that, and given that they're now hiring for something that seems bigger than an expansion, I don't know if we're actually going to get another expansion. But here's the other thing. If they're just now hiring for these positions and they are working on a new game, an entirely new game, it's going to be a long time before we see something released. I mean,
yeah, it really
took
comes down
like 10 years.
How long they've been in production of it.
Yeah,
but if they just hired the lead, I don't know.
Exactly. And it also makes us question then, what are they even going to have anything to show at BlizzCon 2016?
It would be much more feasible to have something to show for an expansion than it would for a D4.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They could just drop the name and be like, you know, they could drop the name for D4 saying, you know, it's in production, it's coming, but they could also drop D3 expansion too and say, we've got this to show.
I feel something that might be a clue here. Countless stories left to tell in the Diablo universe is almost indicative of an MMORPG, where you're going to keep adding either expansions or quests that keep adding stories, right? Because otherwise that's... I mean, why phrase it that way? Why include that? It seems like they're looking for a lot of content if they're talking about countless stories. This isn't going to be just one story, one arch. One part of me says, like, no, Blizzard wouldn't make a Diablo MMO because they don't want it to compete with World of Warcraft. And if they're planning to end World of Warcraft, they're certainly not going to replace it with Diablo. As popular as Diablo is, it is a lot more niche than the high fantasy that World of Warcraft is. This is not saying that World of Warcraft is better in any way, but it is unquestionable that while I prefer dark fantasy 100%, high fantasy is more popular than dark fantasy. It is more approachable than dark fantasy. It is more accessible than dark fantasy.
Yeah,
So,
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Welcome, new raiders.
I mean, Warcraft is definitely showing its age, and they're definitely coming on a downward trend from where they used to be. But replacing it with a Diablo MMO or trying to transition away from Warcraft to a Diablo MMO doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Also, I saw someone earlier point out that for StarCraft, what they're doing to monetize StarCraft is they're adding sort of expansion campaign missions. So, for anyone who's not aware, StarCraft 2 had two expansions to StarCraft 2, which, as planned. But now StarCraft 2 is done. But they're still monetizing through, I guess you can call them microtransactions. They're adding mission packs that you can buy. So it is a microtransaction model. You're getting like little mini campaigns at, you pay a few dollars a piece, whatever. And I feel that monetization is playing a big part here in the future of Blizzard games. So Blizzard's cash cow is World of Warcraft, without a doubt. Monthly subscriptions, its immense popularity, plus the monthly subscriptions, tons of cash rolling in on a regular basis. Hearthstone, Blizzard did not anticipate the success of Hearthstone. They didn't anticipate the success of World of Warcraft either. I don't think they have anticipated any of their successes ever, to be honest. But Hearthstone makes Blizzard a lot of money. Again, that's microtransactions. It's a free game, microtransactions, and the cost of upkeep and the cost of creating a game like Hearthstone and its expansions is a lot less than a World of Warcraft, because it's not a full 3D game, it's just a card game. It's still a shit ton of money. Welcome, new raiders. But regardless, with StarCraft and Diablo, then they have Heroes of the Storm, again, free-to-play, microtransactions, that's where they make their money. And they get consistent revenue on a monthly basis. They keep releasing new heroes, they get more money. Diablo 3 and StarCraft 2, we're still using the old Blizzard model, the old video game model. You buy it once, you pay once, and they never get money from you again. Actually, Diablo 3 had the auction house at first, but they had to can that to make the game survive, and to buy back goodwill with a fan base. But right now, again, you bought Reaper of Souls, and you have not spent another dime on Diablo since. Unless you multi-box or you get banned for botting and stuff, but regardless. Similarly with StarCraft, you got the expansion, then you never spent another dime on StarCraft again. Well, now they found a way to monetize StarCraft. Welcome, new raiders. Could you do that with Diablo? Could you make new missions in Diablo? No. No one's gonna buy that shit. No one would buy that. Everyone hated the campaign. Okay. Not that everyone hated the campaign, but no one really is excited to play through it again. You did it once, and it was fun, and you did it a million more times if you were in vanilla, and then you're just glad to have adventure mode. They can't charge for new bounties, because no one would pay for that. No one likes bounties. It's the stuff that people love is not stuff that Blizzard could really charge extra for. Like, what are they gonna make you pay for a new Rift layout? That's not gonna happen. Like, I don't see anything that they can give as new content that people would pay for, apart from maybe cosmetic transmogs, but like, I don't know.
Map packs.
Map hacks or map packs?
Map packs.
Map hacks, yeah. But yeah, so basically what we see right now is Diablo is currently the only unmonetized game that Blizzard has. So they've just brought, now that they know that, okay, there's no more StarCraft 2 expansions coming, we'll make these mission packs for people to buy. Every other game but Diablo 3 currently has a way to monetize on an ongoing basis. Dynasty's saying maybe they'll make microtransactions to buy pets, back items, banner items, teleport animations. Those are all.
I don't see that being really prevalent in Diablo. Do you think people will actually buy that in Diablo?
I know people who have bought, like, the StarCraft 2 expansion just to get the wings. I suspect that's a minority.
Yeah, that's too much of a niche, though, I would think.
I think the problem is that the transmogs, like, your character is so small, and you hardly see anything over all the fuss of gameplay. Like in Heroes of the Storm, if you have a skin for your character, it's like super obvious that you're wearing a skin. Like there's no question about it. You know, your investment is very clearly there.
Yeah, but I've read and seen that in China they're doing microtransactions, and a lot of it is on wings and stuff like that.
The gaming economy in Asia is completely different than it is in the West. You can't compare it to.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the Asian business people were clamoring for that same business model to come to Diablo 3 in this region, just for cosmetics. Okay, so to clarify, in the Asian region, Diablo is free to play, but it has microtransactions for cosmetics, as well as being pay to win. You could buy stuff to make you gain XP boosts. You can buy stuff that'll help you level faster, kind of thing. That said, that's a business model that, as Naughty Bear was saying, it works in China. China is a very, very, very different culture. And it is accepted and it is commonplace there, so it is not out of the ordinary for Diablo to do that, and no one in China was like, this is outrageous! Whereas here, it would be. Here, even just bringing any kind of microtransaction, I guarantee you, chat, if anyone is opposed to microtransactions, shout it out in chat right now. As much as a lot of people are like, yeah, bring like this, it seems sensible, bring just cosmetic microtransactions to Diablo 3 in North America and Europe, we'd be cool with that. There's still people that would voice dissent. There's still people that would be suspicious that Blizzard might be going down a slippery slope. Like, what next? We pay for stash space. Well, is that pay to win? It's starting to be a bit pay to win. I would pay for stash space. I would super pay for stash space, but I recognize that is kind of paid to win a little bit, because it's less time spent managing stash. It's being able to hold on to more stuff. Like, I can hold more sets, so if a new patch buffs a set, I already have it in my stash. And then we go to, okay, what about, like, paying for XP boosts all of a sudden? And then it's very clearly pay to win, right? So, you can see how it's a slippery slope, and it could very easily be negatively received. And Blizzard has almost explicitly stated that they will not bring microtransactions to Diablo 3.